Hello, 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 what is up everybody? Welcome back to another FTB Infinity Expert video with yours truly, Krillic. We are back in the world here today, and let me start out by saying, whoopsie. We had a lot of issues with the microphone. My microphone level somehow defaulted back to 100 when it's normally at 10 on my Windows and whatnot, but wow, we've done it. This is an absolutely epic episode that I'm doing a voiceover for because I refuse to lose this footage. And there you have it. We have the Creative Energy Cell good to go. Let's craft it and we're good. This took so long, you guys have no idea. So I apologize for the voiceover and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully this works out somewhat okay. But we have the Creative Energy Cell here, and I don't want to use it as I've stated in the past. I think what we need to do is we need to come up with some sort of a monument or some place to put the Creative Energy Cell in the world that will really just kind of make it look beautiful. Now, I'm not sure exactly where I want to do that. Maybe we'll just put it there for now, and maybe we could do some sort of a monument upstairs or something like that. If you guys have any ideas for, some sort of a monument building or anything like that, please let me know. Or, ideas of exactly where you'd maybe want to see it in the world here. So, oh, pardon me. I'm really nervous doing this because I've never done it before. Now, the smeltery there, we definitely need to decorate that up. This is a potential area for the monument up there, just on the top level. We could maybe tie it in with everything, make some nice pathways and all that kind of stuff. It's got potential. Anyways, FPS is still a little bit low. We haven't moved the AE2 system or anything like that yet, but that is definitely something that we need to do here right away. Let's see what else. So we need to basically move everything down to the deep dark from the AE2 system. Now, the next thing, I guess, on our task here is the portable tank, the Creative Portable Tank. This guy is going to be very, very expensive for Creative Energy Cells, and I don't want to use the one that we currently have. So that's going to take quite a bit of time, quite a bit of grinding. People mentioned to me Hypno has automated the process of the Awakened Draconium, so I'm going to have to check out that video. That could be really useful in getting closer and closer to this portable tank type setup. The Galgadorian here, do we even have enough? I can't remember. I think we're short quite a bit on diamonds and obsidian. Yeah, obsidian 21k. That shouldn't be a problem with our automated obsidian farm, but the diamonds at 41,000 diamonds, we are quite low on, and we really don't have much for diamond ore, so we might need to get an RF Tools world or something like that up and running just to get more diamonds, which I don't believe I have the dimlets for to get diamonds, and I'm not sure how to make them. Also, our draconium's down quite a bit, already to 20k, so we've used up about 10,000 draconium ingots in this entire process. I can tell you this right now, what I'm doing is way harder than doing it with the live video. I'm just saying. All right. All of the processing and stuff here, I want to redo all of this in the last millennium, I think, and get rid of some of the dire wire, or acrylic wire for this matter. I think it's worse than dire wire back here. So I think we need to get that over into the last millennium. The other thing is getting rid of some of the logistics pipes around the system here as well is going to improve some of the frame rates and all that kind of stuff. We haven't really been running a quarry at all either, so a lot of our uranium and some of that stuff is running low, which I'll probably have to set that back up again at the end of this episode. Yeah, still doing good on uranium and stuff, though. We have tons of plutonium. We just really, I think, need to clean everything up overall in this system. I I think the not the carpenters, the fermenters are okay over here. I think those are going to be fine, but that's one of those things. So one of our big issues with the AE2 is we need to move all of the auto crafting computers as well as the molecular assembler area, but the problem is it requires an ME controller on the other end. Now you can only have one ME controller per system, so we need to move all of this stuff kind of at once. We need to move all of our, items so that they don't disappear on us mid stream or anything like that, and all of our auto crafting and everything at one time. So that's going to require a little bit of prep work overall. I could potentially put an EU acceptor in the system on this side just to kind of keep the storage system up and running, but maybe not. I don't know. Oh god, getting stuck on the cable anchor. That's fine. It's fine. No big deal. Relax. All right. So that's kind of the issues with the Applied Energistics and just moving it, but we'll get there pretty soon. Some people recommend the spatial I/O stuff to me, but that requires more energy cells and it's really expensive. I looked into it. It is not cheap at the moment until we see any sort of changes. I think though at this point we kind of need to get working on the next thing, which is I want to get going on the Draconic energy storage system, and we want to make the biggest one, of course. You're going to see it quite a few times here, me going into the tablet, me finding all of the the things necessary here for the Draconic energy storage multi-block. First things first that we'll need is the energy core. So we'll need one of those, and we'll need 4 particle generators as well. So let's get those guys done first. I believe there's the energy core. Very nice. And let's make it. Let's just make it. We might as well. What are we missing? Oh boy, a couple things. Wyvern cores and the Wyvern flux. And we're out of fluxed electrum too. Holy cow, me making that creative cell just drained us out of all of our resources. Not a big deal. We'll just craft up a whole bunch and get things going on that front as well. So let's get the, oh yeah, we need the Wyvern energy cores. So we need 2 of those going. And we're missing Mana Steel too. Holy cow. I can't believe it. Just absolutely insane. We're out of everything, guys. We're out of everything. It's fine. Apparently I need to get a whole bunch more of all that stuff. I rewatch a lot of my videos and stuff, but this is interesting. This is different for me, and it's a good experience actually. Okay, there's some Mana Steel as well. Let's get those Wyvern energy cores made up. 2 of them. Thank you very much. Go. Now those are going to take a little bit because they have to go upstairs and get poured on with redstone and all that kind of stuff as well. But for the most part we're doing pretty darn good. Those should get done here right away as well. I guess in the meantime, let's start making our particle generators as well. Might as well do both at the same time. Nope, that's the blood magic one. There we go. Draconic evolution. That's a pretty easy recipe. Obviously, I don't have the redstone blocks, apparently. And I also don't have the draconic cores there. So, again, just more of being out of pretty much everything here in terms of resources. So we'll definitely have to get some of that back up and running here right away. But we need 4 particle generators. We have all 4 now, so that's great. And our energy core should be done. Oh, we used up all the Wyvern cores, didn't we? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. There we go. Let's make another one. Good. Done. Awesome. Energy core. Okay, so the next step is to start setting this guy up. Now, it's a multi-block structure. It's quite large, so we're going to need lots of different things. And there's different tiers that you can go with different levels of storage pertaining to them. So we're going to go with the biggest one because we're pretty much endgame at this point. we didn't really want to make this too early on, or I didn't want to make this too early on. I wanted to have it at the end to get the 2.14 trillion RF. Now 328 redstone blocks and 218 draconium blocks is definitely a pretty tall task to accomplish. So without further ado, let's, I guess, get going on the tier 7 here. You can hold shift to pause it for each stage. You'll see that quite a bit in the video here as well. But one of those things, we need more redstone blocks for sure. That should do. Very good. And I'm going to start, I believe, making this thing right away. Oh, yes, that's right. We auto-craft the draconium blocks first. More mana steel. Yes. Yes, indeed. More mana steel. And all the diamonds, too. I think we used another 800, 900 diamonds here just building this thing. So make sure you have everything good to go on that. So get some mana steel here. Pretty straightforward. Nothing too crazy there. And a quick cut into us setting up the energy core. And basically all I'm doing here is we're measuring out 10 blocks from the middle of the core to place down the particle generators. I'm using angel blocks here to suspend it in the air and make things perfect. So there we go, that's the 10 blocks. And of course we need it to be at the same spot and adjacent to it. So just like so. And one more to go on the other side. So 10 blocks away from that guy should be, you know, it's what, 553 I think it was. There we go. Boom. And there we go. Perfect. So we'll get the last particle generator set up here. Like so. Good. And now we need to start building the core itself. And that guy's going to be built out of redstone predominantly. And then it has the layer of draconium blocks around the outside. We're just going to scroll down to the tier 7 to see exactly what it looks like on the first step. And I believe you saw it there briefly at the beginning. But it's basically just a redstone cube around the energy core. I just held shift to pause it so that I can review it. And then we can go from there. So... and there's the tier 2, or the second step of redstone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start placing down the redstone here, getting this core up and running and ready to go for us. Now, we're going to need to come up with some sort of, you know, facility for this to hang out in. I just wanted to get it built first and foremost, and then we can look at some of the, you know, enhancements that we can do to it. Whipping out the builder's wand because it is going to be very useful in setting this guy up. Sadly, it still requires a bit of manual placement because of the way it works. You're going around in a square, so you're gonna run into some issues there. And boom, okay, and then of course on the bottom as well, and the top. Never forget the bottom and the top, guys. Just saying. There we go, and one on the top. So this is basically the first 2 steps for this energy core system. And then what I'm doing here is I'm looking again for the 3rd step, and I believe it's basically more of the same here overall. Yeah, and there we go. Good. So you also get the 5x5 ring in there in this step, and you keep going with the 3x3 out. So it's pretty straightforward. You can quickly do this step with the builder's wand, actually. It's quite useful. And there we go. Did it up. So very good. The next one, again, same thing. You're building out the 3x3, and then you're expanding on everything else. Apologize if you heard that noise in the background. I believe my wife just dropped something. But here we are. Good, good. So you kind of just build it out like that, and then you start building it up. Now, again, you're running into manual placement here, and you can't really use the builder's wand too much, but we take as much advantage of it as we can to quickly build up this system. Now, this guy is going to give us a good 2.14 trillion power storage. So really looking forward to getting this guy fully done and up and operational. Probably just fuel it with the solar panels and stuff like that, but then we'll also have most of our major draws coming out of it. So things like our main power and all that kind of stuff. So there we go. There is another step. So that's all of the redstone, if I'm not mistaken, done. The next step is the draconium blocks, which I forgot to make apparently. Now we're going to craft that up here. That's 200. I think that'll be a little bit short, and it's going to take a bit of time for those to actually craft up. We also have some more fluxed electrum still going. It takes a while. I'm going to make even more here because you can never have enough resources in this mod pack, no matter who you are, is what I've found out. So let's let this build up a little bit, and we should get things done here. And we've already gone through another 5,000 draconium ingots just with this auto crafting. So it's pretty resource intensive, but it's definitely worth it in the grand scheme of things. So coming back here, I've done a little bit of the draconium blocks around, and all you're basically doing is covering up anywhere where you see redstone on this stage. It's pretty much all manual placement for the most part, and pretty straightforward though. So we got most of the structure done here, but there's still a little bit to go. I need more draconium blocks overall. Luckily, there's only one, thick of draconium for this system. So it's not too bad. I'm not used to talking this consistently for this long, because usually there's cuts and stuff, so I give my voice a little break. Just saying. Again, I apologize in advance for me having to basically dub over this. The way I'm seeing this right now is I'm actually moving my lips and talking, and it's like one of the old Asian films like Bruce Lee or whatever, and I'm talking in a completely different language right now, and then I'm dubbing over myself. I think it's pretty awesome. But there you go, we've got the entire layer of draconium done. Now I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we just need, are we making the energy pylons at this point? I don't recall what we're doing here. Yeah, we're making the energy pylons, that's correct. So pretty straightforward recipe, again, not really expensive at all. One core and we're good to go, basically. And there we go, 2 energy pylons. This is how you get power in and out of your energy storage system with Draconic Evolution. I debated pulling a Tesseract, but I think what we're going to do is we're just going to pull the Tesseract off the back of this capacitor here. And all of this is getting powered from upstairs here. So I think what we'll do is we'll move the solar panels over to the Draconic Evolution storage system, and we'll keep the reactant dynamos and culinary on the capacitor bank that we have here, as well as the big reactor is still on this as well. It would be quite nice if we could get the big reactor over to the Draconic Energy. So a shift right click on any particle generator will complete the structure. There you go, we have a tier 7 up to 2.14 trillion RF able to go into it, and now we need to set up our energy pylons. Now it needs to be within, I believe, 10 blocks of the core is what it says right there, if I'm not mistaken. So we need to get the energy pylons is 15 blocks from the core overall. Alright, so we have the stuff, and this is the 15 blocks for the energy pylons from the core. Now, equally, you need to have a piece of glass on top or below the energy pylons themselves. So you need to ensure that if they're below the core of the system, you need to basically put the piece of glass above the energy pylons. If they're above the core of the system, you need to place the piece of glass below the energy pylons. Now, I'm not positive on this setup that I did. I'm kind of just playing around. I just wanted to get a setup down to get some power going into this system. So I think what we did here, slap down that energy pylon, just like so. Now that's on the same level, and I don't want that. Do not want same level. So let's go down one. That way we can just place the piece of glass right on top of it, and we're good to go on that. So then I need the other one down. So one of these is going to be an input, and the other one will be an output for power out of the system. So I think let's get the piece of glass here for the energy pylons to get them completed. 2 of them. Good. And yeah, just teleport through the wall, why don't you? Sure. And boom, right there. Nice. And now we got the little blue sphere on top of the energy pylon. And what we need to do now is we need to set up the other energy pylon for the system. So let's get that going here. And I probably should have placed it down, you know, somewhere else, but... And I goofed. Oh man, did I goof again? Alright. We got to remove it. Yep. Yeah, I placed it too high. It's fine. No big deal. Let's get that going. Good. And get it down. Awesome. All right. Beautiful. So you'll see now there's the other piece of glass. So we have the 2 spheres good to go. Now, it looks a little derpy. I screwed that up a little bit, but it's fine. For now, it'll work. The next step is to basically get some power in and some power out on this system. And I think, for the most part, we should be good to go with that. Now, first things first, we can basically remove both of these tesseracts off of the vibrant capacitor here. This one is the quarry, which is kind of like our main power. We're powering everything from that. And that one is the Ender Star generated power. So that's the Ender Stars that are coming into the system when I flip the switch, basically, from the Ender Star generator. So we'll take that guy, might as well, and that will be the start of our input. Now, on these energy pylons, okay, let's see, okay, good, Energy Star power, good. Now, it's not charging up the circle yet, because you can set these energy pylons, and they have to be set to an input or an output mode. Now, the way to do this is to basically shift right-click on the circle above the energy pylons to change their output mode. All right, or sorry, just simply right-click the sphere. That's what it is, and it'll change the color of the pylon down below. Blue is for input, orange is for output. You know, it makes me wonder who invented the blue input, orange output, because it's used on everything. So that changed it to an input, and then if we right-click on it again, orange is going to be the output. So that's good. So that one is set up to output power. Good. And this guy we need to change to input power. So it changes it to blue overall. Very nice. And we should be ready to go. So let's just flip on this guy. We have a few nether stars in here, and we'll get some of this power generation going into the core. So we'll do a quick flip of the switch on this, and we should start to see a charge coming in. Very nice. Millions upon millions of power coming in. We're already at basically 100 million RF just from the quick generation there. The next step is for us to set up our output to our quarry system, or our main power output. This guy basically powers everything everywhere, pretty much. So we'll set this guy up on the output energy pylon, just like so. That way we should also be draining power just as fast as we are gaining it. Well, not just as fast, I should say, but we can if we so choose. The quarry's not on right now. And the next step is for us to move these solar panels, the quantums that I still have left over to the draconic energy sphere. And we'll just set these guys up nice and quickly here on the setup. Now, EU does not connect, so it does have to be an RF connector. Now, we could have probably used the hyper transfer node directly onto it, now that I think about it, but I used a cryo-stabilized flux duct into the hyper node transfer, which conflicted with the Tesseract, and I probably should have just used the transfer node hyper instead. And I wasn't willing to go and get a cover or anything like that to kind of clean it up, so I just moved the Tesseract for the Ender power down to the bottom instead of on the side, and then we just kind of set up our solar panels here with the transfer node. It looks like they're not connected, but they actually are, which is kind of curious. But there we go. We have them set up, and it's fully outputting power into the system, so we're gaining even faster now. We have our solar power set up, and we have our Enderstar power set up into the Draconic Energy core. Now you can also take a redstone signal out of the energy core, if I'm not mistaken, and we may look into doing that at some point in time. The other thing that we need to do here is, you can see that our capacitor bank is going down. The dimensional transceiver there, that is our big reactor power input, and we are losing a little bit of power. It's not much at all though. You know, we're only talking about 100 RF per tick, if that. So we'll have to fix that up just by powering back on the other system. But we are already at over 900 million RF in our energy core, which is pretty darn awesome and pretty freaking fantastic. And I believe it's still nighttime at this point, so we're not even generating maximum on those 2 solar panels. And getting a few more solar panels should help as well. So yeah, 904 million RF is pretty darn sweet overall. Now, I don't know what I was talking about here. Maybe I had a fun little story or something. I honestly cannot remember. I could probably listen back to it, but I'm not going to. I think I was talking about some sort of a building to go around the energy core. The other thing is, I forgot to reload this world anchor with ender pearls, so we'll get that guy going. I'd like to automate that process up, actually, so we may do that pretty darn soon as well. But yeah, overall, things are generating, things are powering up. We have our creative energy cell, you name it. I think that's basically going to be it for the episode. We're pretty much at wrapping up point here, and I really do appreciate all you guys hanging out. Again, I apologize in advance for the messed up audio and, well, me having to dub over it. I hope I didn't miss anything. I hope you guys still enjoyed what I presented to you. It might not have been quite as humorous or something, but once we get things sorted out, we'll go from there. Thank you guys so much, and bye-bye for now. See ya.